The world was on fire when he was born, literally. In 356 BCE, the night Alexander came into the world, the Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, burned to the ground. The legend says it was because the goddess was too busy attending his birth to save her own shrine. An omen or a warning? By the time he was 30, Alexander would rewrite maps, destroy empires, and become a god in the eyes of men. But behind the myth of the invincible warrior lies a story far more complex, a tale of ambition, obsession, betrayal, and one man's impossible dream to conquer the ends of the earth. Alexander wasn't just born into royalty, he was forged in ambition. His father, King Philip II of Macedon, was a brutal and brilliant tactician who turned Macedonia from a backwater into a military powerhouse. But it was Olympias, Alexander's fiercely spiritual mother, who told him he was no ordinary boy. According to her, his father wasn't Philip at all, but Zeus himself. Imagine being raised not just to rule, but to believe you were destined to. At 13, he was handed over to a tutor, not just any tutor, Aristotle. Yes, that Aristotle. Under him, Alexander devoured Homer, science, politics, and philosophy. But it was the Iliad that stuck. Alexander slept with a copy under his pillow, idolizing Achilles. And like Achilles, he wanted eternal glory, not a long life, a legend. At just 20 years old, Alexander became king after Philip was assassinated, stabbed by a bodyguard at a wedding. Some whisper that Olympias had a hand in it, maybe even Alexander himself. The moment he took the throne, rebellions erupted across Greece. But Alexander didn't hesitate. He crushed Thebes so utterly that only the temples and the poet Pindar's house were spared. Over 30,000 people were sold into slavery. The message was clear: challenge Alexander and be erased. Then came the real prize, Persia, the richest empire the world had ever seen. No Greek had dared to dream of conquering it. Alexander didn't dream. He acted. At the Battle of Issus, outnumbered and outmatched, Alexander faced Darius III, the Persian king. As arrows blackened the sky, Alexander did the unthinkable. He charged straight at Darius. The Persian king fled. His family was captured. And Alexander, he treated them with honor. Why? Because he didn't just want Darius's land. He wanted to be the new Persian king. In Egypt, he was welcomed not as a conqueror, but a liberator. The priests proclaimed him the son of Amun, an Egyptian god. Alexander didn't argue. At the Siwa oasis, deep in the desert, the oracle confirmed it. He was divine. Was it manipulation, belief, or just genius PR? He founded Alexandria, one of over 20 cities that would bear his name, and then pushed east, ever east. At Gaugamela, he crushed Darius again. Persia was his, but that wasn't enough. He wanted India. He wanted to reach the edge of the known world. But something shifted. Alexander began adopting Persian customs, wearing their robes, demanding prostration. Many of his men, Greek to their core, were horrified. His closest companion, Clytus, once saved Alexander's life. In a drunken argument, Alexander killed him with his own hand. Was he becoming the god he believed he was, or losing the man he once was? In India, at the Battle of the Hydaspes, he faced King Porus and his war elephants, a battle so fierce it shocked even Alexander. And though he won, his army, exhausted, homesick, and bleeding, refused to go further. They had followed him for 8 years, over 20,000 miles. Enough was enough. Alexander wept, not for defeat, but because there were no more worlds left to conquer. Back in Babylon, Alexander planned new conquests: Arabia, the Western Mediterranean, maybe even Rome. But he would never leave the city. At just 32 years old, Alexander the Great fell ill and died. Some say it was malaria, others poison. Or maybe the weight of his godhood finally crushed him. He left no heir. His empire fragmented. His generals fought over the pieces like wolves. But the world would never be the same. Greek language, culture, and science spread across 3 continents. Cities he built still stand, and his name still echoes through history: Alexander the Great. He conquered the world, but couldn't conquer death. And yet, over 2,000 years later, we still speak his name. Maybe that's the real conquest.